Good evening, my beautiful butterflies and fly guys. Listen, I know you are ready to get into tonight's discussion, so I'm not going to delay. There is a phenomenon, that's right, that's what I'm calling it, a phenomenon that has been taking over for quite some time, and I am happy to now be able to address it on this platform. Now, what phenomenon am I referencing? I'm so glad that you asked. That is nothing other than that of women cigar smokers. That's right. If you haven't taken notice, then I'm more than happy to introduce this to you. So listen, believe me, you aren't the only one that is late to the party. Because for me, it was only last year when I was made aware of this phenomenon through the invitation of my friend Cedric Dunstan, and it was to his Facebook group and brand called Fat Ash. That's it, Fat Ash. Look, shout out to Cedric and his team. Listen, it's a phenomenal group. And listen, through this group, I was introduced to the culture that surrounds cigar smoking and the people that embrace this culture. I was totally amazed by the diversity of the people, especially the women of color in this group. And it wasn't long before I noticed, watch this, the fashion of these same women. This is why tonight I want to discuss the topic, women who smoke cigars and the fashion game they bring. That's right, women who smoke cigars and the fashion game they bring. So watch this. Go ahead and tell Lottie Dottie and everybody that we're live and we're ready to get to this show. Are you ready, AB? All right, let's get it. Hit it. Yeah, in the building.
HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke Fashion. So bad. HeSpoke Fashion. I'm telling HeSpoke.
All right. Again, thank you for joining us. And I'm glad that you have taken time out of your busy schedule to have this conversation. So listen, let's get right to it. As I stated in my opening, this monologue, right? Tonight we're discussing the topic, women who smoke cigars and the fashion game they bring. Now, listen, if you're someone who doesn't smoke or never will smoke a cigar, I still suggest that you tune in, because although we will discuss something about cigars, remember, this platform discusses women's fashion from a man's perspective, and that is always where we will land. So remember, this is HeSpoke Fashion, where again, we discuss women's fashion from a man's perspective. And I am the host, Daylon Thomas. That's right, that's me. And I just want to get right down to this conversation. Now, many of you have wondered, and some actually have been bold enough to ask, that why is it that you should listen to a man discuss women's fashion? So let's get to it. I'm going to say this. I actually don't take offense of the question, but I'm going to respond to that question by doing something that you should never do. That's right, something that you should never do. And that is simply to answer a question with a question. My question to you would be, could you take a look at the brands you wear? And then I want you to simply do this. Research the designer. And if that designer happens to be a man, then I want you to ask yourself, if I wear clothing designed by a man, then why would I reject a man's perspective on what I wear if a man is literally dressing me? All right? So again, I don't take offense to the question. Now let me say this, because I can tell I feel some tension in this room. Let me say this. Every man who loves women fashion doesn't have to be part of the LGBTQIA community. That's right, LGBTQIA, right? MOP, no. They always have all the alphabet, but don't necessarily have to be part of that community, all right? So let's just clear that up. Just because I have a love of fashion and a love of women's fashion does not mean I have to be part of that community. Nothing wrong with it. I'm just not a part of it. All right? Now that we got that out the way, let's get back to our discussion. Again, this phenomenon, let me tell you, I'm so excited about this. It has taken our community by storm, as women cigar smokers have increased tremendously in the U.S. Listen, over the past 5 years. If you look at these statistics here, the total smoking rate, and this was from last year, is 17.25%. That same smoking rate for males, for men, is 19.50%. And look, female smoking rate is 15%. Now, I want to say to you that previously, about 5 years ago, that number, watch this, was in single digits. So we can see the increase in women smokers, and specifically those who smoke cigars. So those of you that follow me on Facebook, as I stated in my post, whatever it is, and you know this, and men, you have to agree, that when women do anything, they're going to do, or are going to make it look good. And in this case, there is no difference them making it look good. So let me start by giving this disclaimer, and let me get serious. I'm not telling anyone, male or female, that this is something that you should engage in. But my aim on tonight is to introduce you to a culture that exists and is simply growing, and also to talk about the fashion game of the women who are part of this culture, right? That's my disclaimer for you tonight. So if you recall, there was a time when there was such a stigma that was associated with smoking that, and I quite frankly remember that time, that people would frown in disgust if they saw anyone smoking. Even more so, I would say, if the person smoking was a woman. She's taking a drag off that Newport. Now, I want to suggest to you that those days are changing concerning women who smoke cigars. Why? Again, you guys have so many questions, but I am so glad that you asked. And it's simply that it is to my belief, at least, that this change has been ushered in because of the class and sophistication associated with the women who smoke cigars. All right. I know what you're thinking, but listen, I'm not talking about Black and Mild, Swisher Sweets, or any of the like, but I'm talking about real cigars. So not this person that's smoking, but this person. I'm not even talking about your girlfriend. You know, the one that smokes the Swisher Sweets, versus this young woman who smokes the cigar. Can you see where I'm going? Not even this group smoking the Swisher Sweets versus this group smoking the cigars. One more. Not even this person smoking the Black and Mild versus this one smoking the cigar. Just let's do this one more. Not even this person smoking the Black and Mild versus this person smoking the cigar. Can you tell the difference? Now, I know I'm being funny, but it's true. If you know me, then you know that I love a good quote. And this quote from George Sand seems appropriate for this conversation. It says, "The cigar is the perfect complement to an elegant lifestyle." Would you agree? When you see someone that is smoking a good cigar, you often think, wow, they must have some sort of pedigree. Just because you see them smoking a cigar. At least I do. And again, we're not talking about your Black and Mild. Let's look at another quote. Let's look at a quote here. No? Yes. It simply says, "Given the choice between a woman and a cigar, always choose the woman with a cigar." All right, that's just my advice to the men out there. So listen, I don't want to offend anyone by saying this, but unfortunately, how we view something is based on who we see doing it. Would you agree to that somewhat? How we view something is based on who we see doing that thing. That is the reason we see many products now. I mean, Shaquille O'Neal is on everything, right? We see so many products endorsed by celebrities, even in the fashion arena. And so we have people like this guy. This may be a familiar name, Anthony Joshua. He was two-time former unified world heavyweight champion, Anthony Joshua. But then we see Anthony Joshua here. That's a nice tux. I need a tux too. It's a very nice one. But guess what? He's wearing Hugo Boss. He's endorsing this product. Now, why would Hugo Boss, who's an established brand, you can see that back there, Hugo Boss, but it's an established brand, why would they choose to have Anthony Joshua wear their clothing? I'll tell you why. Because if we see Anthony Joshua wearing and endorsing and looking good, wearing the clothing, then we may be apt to purchase the same clothing for ourselves. And we see Anthony Joshua, a former heavyweight champion, again, wearing Hugo Boss. I'm a Boss fan myself. But again, normally, when we view someone doing something based on who it is, then we make our opinion based on who's doing what. How we see it is based on who we view doing it or wearing it. And so that is why I believe that women smokers, women smoking cigars really have been so well received because of the caliber of women and their fashion that are doing it. If you agree with me, let me see some thumbs up in the chat that you're noticing this trend, and the women that are smoking, they're not your run-of-the-mill women. They are successful career women, very fashionable. Now, if you have watched this platform for any period of time, you know that it is my goal to not only share my perspective concerning women's fashion, but also to invite someone special on to have this conversation along with us. And so I'm going to take a break right now, and we're going to bring on in the next few moments our special guest. So we're going to be right back right after this. Be right back. Yeah. All right. We're back. Listen, while we're waiting on our guests to join us, I just want to take the time again to thank you all for joining in on this conversation. Now, let me ask you a question. What is your perspective on cigars? If you're like me, I'm still a novice to this whole cigar movement. I was recently down in the great state of Alabama, in Huntsville, Alabama. And I was able to go out to the establishment there called Black, which is a cigar lounge that is owned by the couple that are on the show, Love and Marriage Huntsville. Great establishment. I wanted to just see it because I watched the show. How many of you are a fan of that show? Let me just say this while we're waiting. I was talking to a classmate of mine that actually lives there in Huntsville, and we were both on the same page regarding all of these shows. I mean, you want to support them. Of course, you always want to support shows that show a bit of diversity, especially in this age. And I'm a fan. I was watching the show, and as I said, we were discussing the fact that these shows, they start off so well. They start off so well. I mean, you're pulling for these couple, and you're pulling for each one of them, and you already choose who your favorite couple is. If you did that, put in the chat who's your favorite couple on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I mean, I thought it was a step up. It wasn't going to be Love and Hip Hop. It wasn't the Real Housewives. You had real couples. And I was really pulling for male and that couple. I was really, Marcel, I think is his name. I was really pulling for them. Thought they were a great couple, movers and shakers. And then next thing you know, down the drain. And they draw you in that way. And then, that's what happens. But nevertheless, a great establishment there. So if you're in the Huntsville, Alabama area, I would suggest to you, just go and patronize the establishment. The wings are great there. The food is good. And just go do that. And I'm certain you will enjoy yourself. But listen, I think we're a few minutes away from our special guest joining us. Look, I'm excited. I see Sheila in the chat saying that she's a novice. Yes. I'm glad I'm not the only one. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's a novice to this whole thing. Listen, I'm gonna share a secret with you. I totally didn't know what it was to smoke a cigar. I just don't even, until someone said, well, you don't inhale. I said, what? When did this come about? So I'm telling you, I am still a novice. I don't know the cigar game. I don't know too much about it. But when I see a phenomenon like this, and I see fashionable people doing it, I'm telling you, that's what piques my interest in the subject matter. It's even what I choose to watch on television. If there are fashionable people on it, I'm going to tune in. And guess what? The showrunners, the show producers, they know just the same. They know that if they put attractive people on and fashionable people on your TV, you're going to watch. That's what I'm here for, to help us in our fashion arena. And so we're going to bring our guest on. I'm excited to have her. And my special guest tonight is none other than Cigar Enthusiast Sheri Jones. Yes, Sheri Jones is with us on tonight. I am so glad to have her join us. Let's bring her right on. There she is. Sheri, how are you tonight? Can you unmute your line?
Can you hear me now? Yeah.
I can hear.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Great,
Okay.
great. So glad to have you on tonight. I really no problem. We're glad to have you on this platform. Now listen, let me just talk to you for a minute here. Now, I want to tell my audience that this is Sheri's first time here on the HeSpoke Fashion platform. And I am so happy that she is joining us just to have this conversation. So let's get right down to it. I want to start this conversation by asking you a few questions. Is that all right with you?
That's fine.
Great. I see you already have a great cigar there. What is it that you're smoking, if you don't mind me asking?
This is a Monte Cristo white label.
Wow. Now,
Yeah,
see,
this is one of my favorites. One of my.
does.
Let those two words come out of your mouth again.
I'm telling you, listen, I had to make the differentiation earlier in the show that I'm talking about real cigars, not Swisher Sweets or Black and Milds. So
Not at all.
let me start by asking you, who or what was your inspiration for starting your cigar journey? Tell us about that.
It honestly started with my brother's godfather. He used to smoke pipes, which I smoke pipes as well, as you already know.
Mhm.
And I just love the aroma and the scent of it, the smell of it. And from that point on, about I want to say maybe 8 years ago, I was visiting my cousins in the Chi in Chicago, and that's how it got started. I'm that female that always want to be in the boys' game, and you're not going to kick me out. So my first cigar actually was a Gurkha Reserved. So my cousin felt like it was a strong cigar. It's like, okay, well, we'll give her this. She'll pass out the rest of the night, and we won't have to worry about her. Yeah, he thought wrong. So it's been ongoing ever since that night.
Wow. That's a great story. That's so I'm glad that you started off with that. That you wanted to be engaged where normally you don't see a lot of women.
Exactly.
That's very key. Very key.
Exactly.
Now, do you think that women? Okay, listen. Great start. Now, do you think that women who smoke cigars have changed over the last 10 years?
Oh, definitely. 10 years ago, you might find a female that was scared to smoke a cigar or scared what people might think, or embarrassed because they didn't even know how to start when they wanted to. So yeah, I think it's changed a whole lot.
Now, would you say, even with that change, would you say that their fashion has changed as well?
For some women, well, you know what? I can't even say that, because when I think back to when the women were smoking cigars, sneaking them back in the 30s and the 40s, they were still dressed sexy, classy to me. And that was one thing that I loved and adored, is to see a sexy woman smoking a cigar. I've always loved and admired that. So today, some of the women, they still hold up that standard. And then you have those that just want to be relaxed and comfortable with a pair of jeans and t-shirt.
Wonderful. Now, I like how you referenced the days of old when they had to sneak and kind of do it, and how things are changing. And you know what? I think they're changing for the better. They are. And
we still have a few chauvinist men left, but then we also have those that they embrace women that want to smoke now. They teach them how the game goes, and they love it. A woman that smokes, that's an A+ in a man's eyes. Nowadays it is. Back then it wasn't, but now they adore it and love it.
And I agree with that, because I said in the beginning, there was a sort of stigma that was associated with anyone who smoked, and then specifically if it were a woman,
Exactly.
it was a negative vibe. And I've seen this change, and I think, again, because I don't think women should be subordinate to anyone. I think you're able to do anything that you want to do. And in this conversation, I want to make it clear. That I support what women are doing in this hour, and again, I want to ask you this question. What relation, if any, does your fashion have with your pasita? And can you tell those who may not be familiar with this term, pasita, just what it means?
What term is that? Because look,
well, I'm gonna wait a minute. This is good, because the word pasita, right? PSSITA.
Oh, PS, that's an acronym.
Yes.
PSSITA. Okay, put some smoke in the air.
Yeah.
I'm like, casita, what is that? Sound like a casita in somebody's backyard. The mother-in-law's house.
Right. Listen, I just found out what that word meant, so I'm glad.
Yeah, so PSSITA, that's your put some smoke in your SOTL is sister of the leaf, BOTL brother of the leaf, and FOTL family of the leaf.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Did you guys get that? So if you are a sister of the leaf, I want you to put in the chat SOTL, brother
Yeah.
of the leaf, BOTL. And
Yeah.
listen, if you're gonna pasita tonight, I want you to put pasita in the chat.
You are killing me with this
PSSITA.
pasita.
Listen, I gotta create a word when there's no word. So listen, what relation then, if any, does your fashion have with you determining that you're gonna put some smoke in the air?
It has something to do with it. Say, for example, if I'm just doing maybe a midday smoke in between a work break, then of course it's just going to be whatever the gear that I have on at that time. Or if I just want to chill in my backyard at night, and I have a few people over, then I might just put on some cute loungewear or cute off-the-shoulder sweatshirt with whatever cigar that I'm smoking at that time. I'm going to be cute regardless of whether I'm going to downplay it or upscale it.
Awesome. We're sharing a photo of you doing just that. Very fashionable, and I think you're.
I can't see the photo.
Yeah, we snuck that one on you. Great job, AB. Shout out to AB in the building.
What photo was that?
It's the one with you with a what's that, navel top. It's like red crop top and then a long skirt.
Skirt?
Yes.
Okay.
Love the skirt. Love the look. Very fashionable. So I again, so very nice, very fashionable. And see, when I view women who smoke cigars versus women who ride motorcycles, I see more freedom in their fashion choices. And would you agree? And why would you say that is?
More freedom for cigar smokers?
Yes.
Okay.
In terms of their fashion.
The reason being is because I'm a motorcycle rider, and when you're on a bike, it's gonna limit, of course, what you can wear if you're going to that lounge or if you're going to that cigar shop. You can only wear so much when you're riding a bike. Now, don't get me wrong. I admire women that love bikes and I admire women that smoke. But your gear, your apparel, it's going to be very limited as opposed to those that are smoking a cigar that's going to a club. We can wear like the long skirt that you just posted, or when I may have on the sheer top with the sports bra and my shorts, or if I wanted to wear wide leg jeans and a crop top or even a suit. So we have options if we're not on a bike.
I would agree. Very, very good.
Or should I say more options?
And I, to me, it just seems like, there's a designated uniform for whomever decides to ride a bike and be part of a bike club. There's a uniform. And I would suggest that you answered it perfectly. You kind of have to wear certain things if you're going to ride a motorcycle. But that's why you should do something else as well, which is pasita. Put some smoke in the air. So listen, I for one am glad to see the level of femininity that is maintained in both the fashion and overall look of women cigar lovers. What would you say to women who don't embrace that side of it?
Okay, so when you say women that don't embrace, are you speaking of those that don't embrace because they don't know how, or those that don't embrace because they just choose not to?
The latter, that they choose not to.
Well, I mean, if someone chooses not to embrace that, then there's nothing that you can do about it. That's their choice. That's their option, and I'm not going to force mine on them.
Right.
But if it's someone that wants to and doesn't know how to, or they're scared to, then yes, I'm just going to tell them, embrace yourself. And like I said before, you would be shocked how many men would love to help a woman to embrace that cigar lifestyle, or as you say, pasita lifestyle. For me, when I first started, like I said, it was my cousins that got me started. But my first initial time, I want to say at a cigar lounge, I was a little uncomfortable as
Mm.
far as not in my attire and what I was wearing, but because it was my first time in what I like to call a so-called man's world or lion's den, and I didn't know how they would react to me being in there.
Hmm.
Would they show me around the humidor? Would they show me that this cigar is a medium body or a full body, or this one is more so if you're drinking coffee, or this is a bourbon one, or would I have to figure all that out on my own, or would I look just ignorant going inside that humidor? And as I got in there, I got more relaxed and more calm because the owner came in there with me and he explained everything to me with no problem at all.
Oh, that's very good. And my point in that question was because of sometimes when you go into a different place, that is a man's place, a lion's den, so to speak. A lot of times you want to take on what you think would be accepted. So if you go around men, you want to, you don't want to be sexy because, you're going around all of these men, and sometimes, you don't want to put on that type of attire for that. And it's like, I just agree with you that, if that's your choice, that's your choice. But I want all the audience and my beautiful butterflies to know that this is something that you can embrace. You can embrace the feminine side. You can dress how you want. And men will definitely receive that. What say you on that? What say you?
Was that, I didn't hear the last part.
I said, what do you say about that? What say?
No, I agree with you on that. And I guess I'm just that different person because I embrace my sex appeal. I love me. I love my sexuality. I just love my makeup. And regardless of the men being there, men are going to say what they're going to say or do what they're going to do, regardless if you have on a tight fitted sexy dress or just a pair of sweatpants. I get hit. I promise you, I get hit on more so at the grocery store in sweatpants with no makeup. And it shocks me. So men, they're going to embrace you regardless. But as far as women embracing you, I always say, like I told you earlier, just embrace yourself. And if you have a hard time coming out of it, call me. I'll help you. I would gladly, because there are women that want to, and they just don't know how because of fear of what somebody is going to think of them, as opposed to how they feel about themselves.
Wow, that's awesome. I concur. I mean, I think that what you're saying is 100% true. There are those who, because of esteem issues, are afraid to be themselves and be comfortable in their own skin. but to be comfortable in their own skin, and that is one of the things that I believe fashion helps you.
And it does.
To be comfortable. That's why I promote it. I remember my mother using fashion to build the self-esteem of her students, from the young girls to the young men, to using fashion to do that, to help bolster that. And I would suggest to all the women out there, and even to the fly guys that are watching, use fashion. I often say this, that fashion gives you an advantage. And even in that scenario, in that situation, it's going to give you an advantage. And it's going to help you in the areas of self-esteem. Say that again?
Step outside your comfort zone.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, step outside your comfort zone and you will realize how much you love it, and you will embrace it even more so, and you will start flourishing even more so once you step outside that comfort zone.
I love that. I love the words you use, because I heard you, and this is to the audience, I heard her issue a challenge. She's challenging you to step out of your comfort zone.
Out of your comfort zone.
Yes, and then she used the word flourishing. I love that word. I want you all to flourish in everything that you do, and you can flourish using this tip that she just gave. That was a nugget. Step outside your comfort zone. I've often said that in terms of fashion. If you're used to wearing this same outfit, I want you to go and look in the back of the closet. That outfit that you bought and now you're afraid to wear.
Like, I still don't know if I'm going to be comfortable wearing this or not. Put it on.
Put it on.
Put it on. Put it on.
Exactly.
You won't know until you put it on and until you wear it. And when you wear it, walk in your confidence. You have to. Walk in your confidence when you put it on. That makes the difference right there.
Wow.
That makes a difference right there.
You guys, I hope you hear this. Walk in your confidence. And I hear Sheila says, true, trying new things broadens your horizon. It does. It does. I love it too, Sheila. I love it too. It broadens your horizon, trying new things. And this is a new thing. If you haven't heard of it, it's the latest. It is women who smoke cigars and their fashion game. That's what we're talking about tonight. Listen, let me ask you another question. Does the type of cigar you choose ever impact your fashion? I guess that's a hard question, but unless you're choosing it before you go somewhere, that may be a difficult question to answer. But what do you have to say about that?
I don't know if how do I answer that? I have certain cigars that I smoke that makes me feel sexier than other cigars, if that can make sense. So if I'm smoking my Monte Cristo, or if I'm smoking my Flathead, or if I'm smoking a Gurkha, those are cigars that do make me feel sexier than some of my cigars that I smoke. So if I know in my head that I'm going to smoke that cigar when I go out, then yes, I'm going to choose my wardrobe according to that. If I know that already. Wow.
You're blowing me away, because the words that you are using are just speaking volumes. You said that cigar makes you feel a bit more sexy. And it's all about how you feel, and what you feel then shows the world how you're feeling. And we're showing this photo of you now with this red dress on.
I can't see the photos.
A very good look here. And I'm telling you, you're walking in so much confidence there. And we can tell by the photo here, and that you're walking in confidence. And I would suggest to my audience that you follow suit. She's our guest here tonight is giving us a bunch of nuggets, not only about fashion, not only about cigars, but about life, about helping you to build your confidence. I often say fashion helps you to do that, and we're in agreement in that. And then the cigars. The cigar, if she knows she's going to smoke a particular cigar, she puts on sexiness along with the cigar. Wonderful thought there. Now, does the cigar lounge, does it also influence your fashion choice? What lounge you're going to?
Yes, definitely. There's a spot.
Shout out the spot.
It's a local spot here called the Chicago Brewery. And if I don't feel like dressing and I just want to put on a jogging suit and a pair of tennis shoes, then I can go there. I can watch my football on Sundays, put my legs up, order my teriyaki chicken wings, go inside the humidor and get me a cigar, and I watch sports all day long. Wow. Now, if I'm going to the Dorsey or the Blue Martini or Sugar Daddy's Lounge, which are all here in Las Vegas, and Sugar Daddy's just is Black owned. If I'm going there, then yes, I'm going to upscale what I'm wearing.
Wow.
I'm going to upscale what I'm wearing.
Absolutely wonderful. You know, I remember back in my club days, it was similar to that. If I was going to the Hole in the Wall Club, I didn't care what I was wearing.
You just wanted the good music and the catfish.
Right. It was going to be just dark enough that it really didn't matter what you had on. But dark enough, light enough that you could see at least a little something, you know?
That's it.
But when I wanted to go to the club that was going to be, that you were going to be seen, they were going to have the lights on around the bar area, and they were going to have the lights on the dance floor, you had to dress up. So it does matter. And I would suggest to everyone listening that you kind of put that in your mind, that where you're going does determine what you dress like. Keep that in mind.
It does.
You know, if you're going to from New Jersey to Atlanta, you should dress for Atlanta, right? Because that's where you're going.
Yes.
Not for the airport. You're not going to the airport. You're going to Atlanta. You're going to Atlanta.
Now, you know what, though? Now I dress when I go to the airport.
that is
I dress when I go to the airport.
yes, because you know that the airport is not your destination.
No, it's not.
You're going somewhere, and you should
Exactly.
always look like you're where you're going.
Exactly.
Even in your career choice. Let me say this to those who are listening: in your career choice, you should look like you're going somewhere. You may be in
Always.
this position today, but you're going to the next position. So why not look like it? Why not look like it? All right. So we're in agreement that your fashion choice is influenced by the cigar lounge, where you're going. Now, here's another.
Definitely.
I think I read this quote earlier. Advice to help my fly guys here. Yes, this is the quote I wanted. This is the quote. It says, "Given the choice between a woman and a cigar, always choose
the woman with the cigar."
Yes. Yes, that is some advice for the men that are watching. Listen, you need to make sure you choose the woman with a cigar. Choose the woman with the cigar. Let's hold up. Stop the show. Excuse me for interrupting your viewing pleasure. And I apologize to my guests. But listen, guys, if you haven't already subscribed on YouTube, I would love for you to hit the subscribe button down below or right here. Just hit it.
Subscribe and like.
And if you're watching on Facebook, could you just please simply hit like?
That's right.
It literally takes 2 seconds and it comes at no cost to you.
None
All
at
right?
all. None at
Now
all.
back to our conversation. Now listen, I got to get to this question. I know there are many types of cigars and beverage combinations. So if I were to give you a scenario, what fashion would make the perfect combination? So now let's pivot to the point, and this is to my audience. This is the point of the show when you can all join in, no matter if you're watching on Facebook or YouTube. And we're going to play a game called What You Wearing. All right? What you wearing? So now, Sheree, I'm going to give you different scenarios. And I want you to tell me.
Plural. You said plural.
Right?
Scenarios.
Yes, it's more than one. I want you to tell me what you would wear for each. And now to my beautiful butterflies on Facebook or YouTube, I want you to type in the chat what you would wear for those same scenarios. And if you agree with Sheree on what it is she would wear, I want you to simply put a 1 in the chat. All right? Those are our instructions. Okay. Now, scenario number 1.
Okay.
Can you place that on the screen? All right, AB, thank you. So the scenario is your male friend calls you and says, be ready after church on Sunday to watch the football game at the cigar bar. What are you wearing? Or what you wearing?
What cigar bar am I going to?
Let's say Sugar Daddies.
On a Sunday?
On a Sunday.
and the question is the pairing or what am I wearing? What was the question again? I'm sorry.
What you wearing?
Oh, well, that's an easy choice for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna put on my Dallas Cowboy jersey that hangs off my shoulder with my navy blue that matches my star, my navy blue leggings that match. And then I'm just gonna put on a chunky heel and my baseball hat.
Wow. Now, except for the jersey.
It's not a jersey. It's not a jersey.
It's not a jersey.
It's a sexy Dallas Cowboy shirt that hangs off my shoulder. It's not a jersey.
Well, except for the Dallas Cowboy part.
Whatever.
So listen, if that's something that you would wear, and I really love this because it suggests that you're comfortable going in places that were normally not meant for women, and having a good time. And I think I know we men. Listen, women. I'm helping you today. We love it when our women watch the game with us. when they enjoy sports with it. We're not going to kick you out and say this is a man's place. No, if you're into the game, you're into the game. Listen.
Right,
my sister-in-law,
my sister the television, sit next to him and watch the television.
Yeah, my sister-in-law, she's part of a group. Unfortunately, it is the Dallas Cowboys team.
You have one more time, or as my grandmother said, you got one more again to talk about my boys.
But she's part of this group, and they do a lot of events for their group, which is a Dallas Cowboys fan club. It is awesome, and she meets some great people in this group. Let me tell you, ladies, start watching some football, start going into some places and dressing the part. We talked about that the other week, dressing the part. There's nothing wrong with wearing something that represents your team, but you can still keep it sexy. That's right.
You can still be sexy and cute with it. That's right.
Yes.
Right.
That's right. Sheila's with me. She says, number one, which she's agreeing with your attire, minus the Cowboys, right? High five, Sheila. High five.
I love you anyway, sis.
Okay.
But, sidebar real quick. I just remembered why you hate my team so much, because you're a Giants fan, right?
No.
You're not Giants?
Everybody in Jersey is a Giants fan. I'm a 49ers fan. That is my team. Oh, and I root for the home team. Sunday. Shout out to the Carolina Panthers. That's the home team. No, so my cousin told me, said, you're in Jersey now. You have to root for the Giants. So shout out to the Giants, I guess.
Well, sorry for your loss to the Cowboys this past Sunday.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, rub it in for those guys.
Yeah, we brought it.
Okay, listen. Scenario number two. Number two. A gentleman you met recently invites you out for dinner and afterwards suggests you try the new Cigar Lounge for a drink. Right? He says, hey, we're going to dinner, but listen, after dinner, let's go to this new Cigar Lounge. What you wearing?
Okay, so my question is he telling me this before he picks me up?
He's telling you that before he picks you up.
Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna Google the new Cigar Lounge, see where it's located, if it's upscale or if it's just a nice local, so I know how to dress for that Cigar Lounge.
Wait a minute. You gotta say this again. You gotta say that again.
I'm gonna Google the lounge, the new lounge, and I'm gonna see what their attire is and see if it's an upscale new lounge or just a local nice new lounge that's just opening up, and that will determine what I'm gonna wear.
Wow. See, I'm telling you, you just helped somebody, because what they're doing is they're waiting and not knowing what their attire is, and then they get to the location and then they feel out of place because maybe they're overdressed or they're underdressed. So you just help someone. Now, let me ask you this question. If it's a new romantic interest, what are you wearing?
If I'm not mistaken, the red dress that you post of me, was I sitting down?
Yes.
So then I would definitely have that red dress on.
Okay.
Definitely that red dress. Definitely that red dress.
Definitely.
Because I'm dressing for me, and if this is like a first or a second date, then of course I'm dressing for him too.
Wow. You got to say that again, because I don't think that people in the back heard you.
I'm dressing for myself and I'm dressing for him. Even though we say we're not trying to impress people, if it's a first or second date, we're trying to impress. We are. And I'm just going to, like I said before, I'm just going to be honest and be real about it. So yes, I'm dressing for me and I'm dressing for him.
Listen, if you're not helping anybody but me so I can help them, you're helping right now. Because I don't know if you guys heard what she said. She said if the second or third date, I think you said that, then you're dressing for you and you're dressing for him. You're dressing so that he would applaud your fashion statement. And that's why I'm here. I'm here to tell you that I'm here to give you a perspective. from a man's perspective on women's fashion. I'm here to do that. So if you don't know what you would wear, it's a great opportunity to join this group. Follow HeSpoke Fashion so that I can help you to make the right choice for that next date. Yes, it may just determine whether or not there is a third and a fourth date.
Exactly, because listen, if you just put on a random anything and be like, oh, I don't care, it's just a date, and he sees you, he's gonna feel that same way, and that next date is not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen.
Listen, she's helping you guys. I concur from a man's perspective. Listen, we're visual creatures. Exactly. We're visual. I know you have a great personality, but that great personality and a potato sack is a potato sack. It's not. I'm going to remember the potato sack, not your great personality. So it's all right to date and to dress for that potential. That potential.
And men love it. They love a woman that dresses. They love it. They love it.
I concur 100%. So it does, if it is a romantic interest, it does influence, and I think it should. How about you? Yes. So Sheila, your new friend Sheila says,
that's my new friend. That's my new sis.
Yes. She said a red equals strength, and I feel strong when I smoke a cigar like a boss. And
that's what I'm saying, Sheila. That's how you do it.
That is you know what? That is the whole imagery.
That's my SOTL right there.
Right. Drop the mic. Yes. I'm telling you, that's what I think.
Like a boss.
Yes, it is so empowering, and I agree. That red does say something. Now, moving on. Scenario number 3. Number 3 is where we are. But no, before you put that up there, AB, can you put the name? What do we call this? It is called What You're Wearing. That's the game that we're playing. What you're wearing, what you're wearing. Not you, what you wearing, all right? So all right now. Scenario 3, number 3, put that on the screen for us, please. Thank you. Your girlfriend comes to town for homecoming and has heard that cigar bars and lounges are the new spot for the grown and sexy. She asked your other girlfriends to meet you there, all right? So your girlfriend comes in town. She knows this is the hot spot. She asked the other girls to meet you there. What you wearing?
I'm still gonna be sexy. I'm sorry. I'm that's just me. It's like Sheila said. I'm a boss up every single time. I don't care if it's just a pair of jeans and some stilettos and a sexy off the shoulder or back out shirt. I'm still gonna dress to impress.
Very good.
I'm going to dress to impress.
Now let me ask you, and you can't see this photo, but Sheila can see it, and the other audience members can see it. Would this be considered too much for a night out with the girls? I want you guys, if you think yes, I want you to put a 1 in the chat. If you think no, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. If you don't think this is too sexy for a night out with the girls, I want you to put a 2 in the chat. If you think that
what picture is this?
This is a generic picture. This is not yours, but I have
mine.
Okay. That's not yours.
I wish I could see it so I could give my input.
Well, it's the stiletto heels.
Okay.
And what would that be called? That's sort of like a little short jacket, almost like a tuxedo jacket. It's white. And it has the Chanel pins on it, and she has a belt wrapped around that. So think maybe, what is that?
You said a Chanel. So she wearing a dress or?
No,
pants?
it's a mini skirt that is tulle, okay, made out of tulle.
Oh, that sounds cute.
I think it's cute.
That's not. I don't think that what you're describing. I don't think that's too much for a girls' night out.
Yeah, and I mean, maybe someone's thinking
I
because.
wish I could see it.
Well, I'll send it to you.
My phone is right here.
What I'm going to say is maybe because she's not wearing, it doesn't look like anything underneath the jacket. But I think if you're single, ladies, and you're going out with your girlfriends, I think this is appropriate. I think it's appropriate. I think it is something that'll allow you to have a good time, and you're going to get a bunch of attention. Let me just say that.
You know what, though? But if they're your true girlfriends, they're not going to be in competition with you anyway.
Oh.
My two girlfriends, I love them to death, and their outfits that I think when I go out with them may be too sexy to be like, sis, you better go put that dress on. If you don't go put them jeans on or go put those pants on with that shoe, that's how my girlfriends are. Your true girlfriends know you, and they know your personality, and you know them as well. And there's no competition there. There's no competition.
Wow.
So if it's your real friend, they're going to accept whatever it is that you're wearing. Now, if it's a single woman and you're going around couples that are married, then yeah, it might be a different story. You don't want to, too much sex appeal. You might not want to do that.
Now, I'm glad you brought that up, because I'm going to ask a question. So you said real girlfriends. Do you mean that the girlfriends we see on these Real Housewives are not really the true epitome of what? Because I mean, it gives a, in my opinion, it doesn't give a great look to friendships amongst women. So
you have to forgive me. I don't do reality shows. Too messy.
Yeah.
Too messy for me. So with that being said, I don't think they are real friends. Maybe one or two possibly, but not all of them.
Yeah, I mean, because this is what is being shown to the public. And for people that don't know any real friendships and women of color and their friendships, then all they have to go on is what we see on television. Unfortunately, what can we do about that to change that? What can we do? That's a question for another platform, right?
that is a question for another platform. And that's a good question. When you don't know or you haven't experienced it, and when you finally see it, it'll be hard to embrace it, I guess, because you haven't seen anything different, if that makes sense.
It does.
And you just have to keep seeing it and keep embracing it in order for you to become that person or that true friend. That's, I know we kind of pivoted to that, but it's a very important point because, what we see, perception becomes reality to the person who perceives it. So someone may be watching that and then they question, are their true friends really their friends, because they're not behaving like the ones on television. So we have to do better, I think, a better job of what we put on these shows. I know drama drives ratings. I know even here on this platform, if I was talking about something that was very salacious, some scandal, the platform will be filled, because unfortunately we like that more than we like information that can be a blessing to you, can encourage you, can empower you. But let's move on. So let me interject another quote here as a bit of advice, I think, and humor for my brothers listening in. It says, he said, cigar smoking scares me. I said, we should both date other guys. So, unfortunately for the guys there, listen, if that scares you, okay, maybe you need to man up just a bit. Now I want to shift gears here a bit. I would just say it was nice to meet you. Take care.
Right. So let's shift gears here a bit, and I want to ask you this question. What would you say to those who believe that smoking cigars is still a pleasure reserved solely for men?
Honestly, I don't know too many people nowadays that still think that way. But for those that do, I would tell them go to your local cigar shop or your cigar lounge, and you will see how times have changed, how things have changed. It's all over the internet. You go to Facebook, and it's over 100 cigar groups over there out there, and there are so many women that not only have their cigar groups. A girlfriend of mine, Mo, in Detroit, she has her own cigar lounge in Detroit, female. There's another female that I met, and I forgot her name, and I fell in love with her when I met her. She has a big, huge mobile home. It's what is it called? I guess a mobile travel cigar shop.
Okay.
And she has the chairs that she put out for you when she does her pop-ups. She has her alcohol. And this baby is big. It's nice. So it's not a man's game anymore. There are a lot of women that's coming out there with their own cigar lines.
Wow. You hear that?
So,
you have hit the nail on the head. There are so many doors that are being opened during this time for women. And I think that if those doors are open, you should just walk right through and keep them open.
Excuse me, and embrace it. And who knows what will happen when you walk into it. Like I said, my girlfriend Mo, she didn't know that she was going to end up owning her own cigar lounge. She didn't know that was going to happen. She just started smoking, and then she started seeing what the men were doing, and she was like, hey, I want a part of this. So she did it.
Wow.
And the other young lady who I'm speaking of, I wish I could remember her name. She was actually featured on a new cigar magazine. She was on the front cover.
Wow. See, listen, sometimes you benefit by being the first to do something.
Exactly.
And these women are opening doors. And listen, I want you to get involved. See the opportunities where they are. Sometimes we try to make opportunities where they are not.
Yep.
There is something to do with that and commendable about that. But where there are opportunities, you should take advantage of them. I often say that. So what would you say to women who, like, right now maybe be intimidated about smoking a cigar or entering what was formerly a man's space?
You know what? I tell people like that, start at home, sit in your backyard, get you an inexpensive cigar. And most women and some men, they actually start out with a sweet cigar. So just practice at home. There's actually tutorials on how to smoke a cigar.
Yes.
So if you really want to get into it and you feel like you're embarrassed to go to a cigar lounge or a cigar shop, start out in your backyard. And then once you get comfortable, because you will, then you'll go ahead and you'll make that move.
Wow.
You'll make that move.
Such wisdom in everything that you're saying. Such wisdom. Take the time to do a tutorial. There's nothing wrong with it. It's nothing wrong.
Learn how to cut it. Learn how to cut it, or learn how to light it. All that before you get there. You're saying toast the bottom of the cigar. All of that before you get there.
You're saying a lot right there, because just whether or not you cut it or how do you smoke it.
You want a straight cut, you want a V cut, you want a punch. Learn all of that. They have tutorials on there.
Wow. Very, very informative. Very informative. Now let me ask you, were you intimidated the first time you visited a cigar bar or lounge?
No.
No? I kind of knew the answer.
For that. I'm sorry. Now I will say, and I don't think it was more so intimidating. I was just amazed by when I went in my first humidor here in Las Vegas at La Casa Cigar Lounge. I was amazed at how big this cigar humidor was and how many different cigars that they had in there.
Wow.
So if anything, I was intimidated by that.
Wow. But let me ask you a question then. To the person that is intimidated to even visit a cigar lounge, what would you say, or what could you suggest to help them overcome that intimidation?
Take someone with you. Because if you're intimidated, or if you feel uncomfortable, chances are you're never going to step out of your comfort zone and get that right. Find somebody that's going to push you into doing what it is that you want to do, whether they agree with it or not. And I have a girlfriend. She does not smoke cigars at all. But so I don't have to go by myself. Come on, sis, I got you. Come on, sis, I'll go with you. And she might smoke a Tatiana or an acid just to appease me. So find that friend that will go with you.
Wow. Well, I'm telling you, this is something. Look, I'm giving you my beautiful butterflies. I'm giving you some things to do that may be right now out of the scope or even out of your comfort zone. But I think that these
Or you
things.
can find a male friend that smokes a cigar. Have him go with you.
Yes, absolutely. I think in this hour where we're starting to see that there are limitations in terms of what you can do once you get a certain age. Certain things you just don't want to do. You don't want to sometimes go out and be amongst people that are just so young and just doing things that you've already what do they say, you already got the t-shirt, you're so far removed from it. But this is grown up things to do.
And it's a lifestyle. It's not a trend. It's here to stay. It's a lifestyle. It is a lifestyle.
That is one of the points that I was going to make, that it is not a trend. I do think that it's going to be here to stay because, again, it's driven by the ones who are doing it. When you see people that, again, have a certain caliber of intellect and looks and all of those things playing, you know that there's going to be some sustainability there because they can afford to keep that lifestyle. It's sort of like golf, right? You know, everybody doesn't play, but and it is okay. Everyone doesn't play, but those who do can continue to keep golf going. It can continue to do that. So can you share just a few tips for women who are looking to visit these places for the first time? I think you've already given a few. You take someone with you, practice in your backyard. Are there any other tips that you can give?
As far as going to a cigar lounge for the first time,
Yes.
That's pretty much it. And just be confident. Like I said, when you walk in, just be confident in whether you know what you're doing or not. Still just show that confidence. And if you mess up, because we do, there's been several times I'm smoking a cigar and my ash has fallen in my lap as opposed to in the ashtray. Wipe it off and keep going. Simple as that. And that's just me. And like I said, just find somebody to go with you if you don't want to go by yourself. Or me, I don't have a problem with going out by myself. I'll just sit at the bar and I'll just smile, and eventually someone will come over and converse with you, and before you know it, you're smoking and you having the time of your life. So again, it's a matter of stepping out of your comfort zone, stepping out of that shell, stepping from that caterpillar to the butterflies that you're calling everybody tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And I concur with that. And I might add that if you look good and that ash falls into your lap, nobody's going to bother that. If you,
You're not going to pay any attention. And
if you
anything,
walk
they're gonna try
in,
to help you. If anything, they're going to try to help get it off your lap.
that's,
So that might be another tip.
I agree. Just drop the mic. Boom. Yes. I mean, we men, like I said, we're visual creatures. So if you walk in with confidence, you've already practiced, you know what you're doing, you even brought a friend with you, but you look good. Listen, we're gonna help you get that ash off your lap. We're gonna help you to light your cigars. We're gonna do all of those things. We're gonna give you the
It can go
attention.
so many different ways, because the minute that somebody comes over and you drop the ash, because somebody's going to assist you. At that point, just say, you know what, I am new to this, and at that point right there, that's a whole new conversation. Whoever helps you, who's ever gonna save you, at that point for the rest of that night, they're gonna show you how to cut, how to smoke. They're going to show you all of that before you leave, before the night is over with. How to toast the end of your cigar. They're going to show you all of that.
This is a very good point. So listen, to my fly guys out there, there's still women that need to be saved. Just go meet.
And that's okay, because sometimes we don't mind being saved.
That's right. See, I'm glad you said that, because certain times you hear certain women make so many comments that you're like, well, you know, you seem unapproachable. You don't seem like you need a man to do anything. So why bother? And I think if you're single and you're in that position, that's not a great That's not a great look for you. If you're single and want someone, now if you're single and you just happen to be single and that's you, more power to you. Maybe this not
Right.
it's not even the platform for you. But if you're single and you want companionship, then this is the place for you. And this conversation we're having, this is giving you another meetup spot, right? Look, get offline,
Yes,
and go somewhere. Go somewhere where you can meet some real people. You know, those dating sites, there are a lot of busters just hanging on those dating sites, just trying to catch somebody. Listen, go meet someone in person, someone
and if you
new.
don't know where the cigar lounges are, as opposed to Googling them, yes, Google's going to give you the ratings, but go on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram and, hey, I'm in this area. Where's a nice cigar lounge at? And you will get all types of responses letting you know where to go.
Awesome. Listen, I concur 100%. That is the way to go about it. Let me ask you another question. What's your lipstick of choice for smoking a cigar?
Now that the two don't, my lipstick actually goes with my attire. So it has nothing to do with my cigar.
Okay. Now
Yeah.
let me ask you a question, because, you know, like I said, this is a question I want to ask, because you know, when you smoke a stick, does it leave your lipstick on the stick, or do you have a certain lipstick that you can wear, sort of like when you don't want to have it on the glass when you take a drink? Is there a certain type that's better than others?
There is a lipstick, and I do have it, but everybody makes it now where the lipstick doesn't come off your lips for 6 to 8 hours.
Oh,
So my tip on that is just to refresh before you go out. You don't have to worry about it being on your glass or your lips or your cigar.
wow. Refresh. I like it. So many good tips. So we're coming down towards the end. But what cigar makes you feel empowered? And does that empowerment influence your fashion?
I would probably have to say the Liga or either the Flathead, only because of the gauge, the size of a cigar. And men always feel like women should not smoke large cigars. Don't tell me that, because I'm just gonna smoke it. So I would have to say one of those make me feel empowered. And like I said, then I have those that make me feel sexy.
Great. Wow.
So if I'm smoking a Flathead, chances are I might have on a long shirt dress that ties at the waist with a pair of shorts sewn up under it, and my stiletto heel.
Very good. Listen, we're coming to the end of our questions for tonight. But I have one final question, and I want to ask this of you. And that is simply this. What would you say to women who are afraid to join the Sisters of the Leaf? What would you say to them?
They're afraid, but they want to.
They're afraid to join. Like yes, they're afraid. They want to, but they're afraid to join. Absolutely.
Reach out to a sister of the leaf or reach out to a brother of the leaf. A lot of the cigar groups that are out there, you can't get in unless you smoke cigars. So with that being said, you can get a hold to the administrators and leave one of them a message. Like Fat Ash, I'm an admin for Fat Ash, and they can message us and they can ask us questions, and that's what some of them do. How do I get involved? How do I start smoking? How can I be a part of this group? And we tell them.
Wow. Listen, so much information, and we can't get it all in tonight. I'm just so happy that you took the time to join us.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes. And listen, we have come to the end of this discussion tonight, and I just want to first thank my guest, Sheri Jones, for joining us tonight. And I need to ask you before my listening audience go. I need to ask you before we end this conversation. Will you come back and join us?
Of course, definitely. I enjoyed myself. Sheila
Awesome.
has to come back though too. My sister to leave, she got to come back.
All right, Sheila, you hear that? She wants you back. I'm telling you, I think this is a great friendship happening right here on, and this is what we're all about. This is what we're all about. And so I'm going to
Teaching and learning.
yes, and this is an opportunity to share and to learn and to grow. If you don't decide to smoke a cigar, that's okay. But you've
It's
heard
okay.
some great tips to empower you in
It's
terms of
okay.
fashion, how to build your self-esteem. And if you take any of these tips that Sheree has given us and takes cigar
And I
smoking.
do hope they were helpful, ladies.
Yes.
I do hope they were helpful.
I believe that they will help. I believe it. And I'm sure my guests will concur, my audience will concur on that. So we're going to bid you adieu on tonight, but I want you to stay until the end of the program, but we're going to say goodbye while I close out, all right? So,
Alrighty.
as
Nice
we-
meeting you all. Have a good night.
Yes, thank you.
And PSSITA, put some smoke in the air.
Put some smoke in the air.
Put some smoke in the air.
Yeah. Good night. Thank you. So listen,
Good night.
to my audience, as you know, we shared this in hopes that we could introduce you to something that perhaps you want to participate in, as we see that this does not appear to be a trend, but something that is going to be around, as Sheree said, for quite some time. As in all things we do, we want you to stay safe and healthy and enjoy all that life has to bring you. But if I were you and I were looking for a place to enjoy myself and have mature conversations in a great setting, I would suggest, just as Sheree did, that you join the Fat Ash group. That's PHATASH, the Fat Ash group on Facebook, to learn more about the cigar culture, as well as places in different cities to go and have and put some smoke in the air, and also to meet new people with like passions, right? I want you to do that. Well, that's all I have for you tonight. So I want you to have a good night, good fashion, and I want you to remember that HeSpoke Fashion to you. That's all we have for tonight. Good night, and we'll see you again next week. Yeah, in the building.
He spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke fashion. I'm so bad. He spoke fashion. I'm telling he spoke.